end with this. That, certain, it's not a right. So I think if there is anything to be done, let's first allow the parents to go through the complaint mechanisms within UNEP. It shouldn't be an issue for us. That is my submission. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, I think your submission, especially the conclusion, is in line with my guidance. That this is for noting by government. If they find any issues, indeed, like the members have said, they will investigate and all that. But I wouldn't want Parliament to be involved in issues of marking, grading, and all that, okay? But government kind of take note and listen to the issues raised by the colleague, okay? Whenever colleagues in the public gallery this afternoon, we have people and teachers from Cheboy Child Development Center, located in Kongasisi County in Buko District. They are represented by Honorable Cherimo Paul Ruben and Honorable Chemtai Ivren. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Once again, join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Honorable Dr. Joseph Ryonga.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise on matter of national importance regarding the freezing of the funding from the USAID, which you commented about yesterday. And of course, this is affecting mainly the health sector. There's been funding programs like HIV, TB, malaria, and most of our programs, more than 50% is funded by the USAID. So my prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, is the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Health to see how we can be able to allocate more funds for the coming 3 months, because the USAID the US government is reviewing, evaluating, and see if to continue or to stop completely. That was my submission yesterday. Yesterday we met and we talked that somebody was handling that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Minister for Finance, this funding gap, I saw yesterday on the news, it was all over. Yesterday in the House, it came up. And are you taking some mitigation steps to plug the holes? There is a huge scare within the public.
Right Honorable Speaker, it is indeed a matter of grave concern to all of us, and the Ministry, working closely with the Ministry of Health, will be considering this matter and make appropriate recommendations to Cabinet, and if possible, ultimately to Parliament.
Thank you. Honorable Tamaguzi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, last week one of the members of Nakaseke misinformed this House that we have an ambulance in Semuto. Unfortunately, yesterday, Right Honorable Speaker, some of my people of Semuto got an accident in a place called Bukomero, and it was only Honorable Kefa who helped us because Semuto doesn't have an ambulance. But my major concern, Right Honorable Speaker, as a House, we appropriate money for national medical stores. But in all government hospitals, Right Honorable Speaker, patients who go there, they claim that there are no medicines. We want to know, as members of Parliament, who steals medicines from all government hospitals. That's my prayer, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now, Honorable colleagues, I'm seeing allegations against each other. The other day, Honorable Tamaguzi said they don't have an ambulance. Honorable Sarah Najuma stood up and said they got an ambulance 2 years ago. Honorable Tamaguzi missed the handover ceremony. So, And now Honorable Tamaguzi has said his people got an accident. But the justification for an ambulance not being there is a bit weak. To say when they got an ambulance, when they got an accident, they were helped by Honorable Kefa's ambulance. What if the other one was helping other patients? So I think for the record to be straight, okay, we have a mechanism. The speaker is protected. He has a mechanism. Let me ask the clerk to verify for me with the Ministry of Health and Nakaseke district.
This was a pledge by President Museveni, giving an ambulance to Semuto Health Center 4.
Okay.
I am a
good.
representative of Semuto, right
okay.
honorable.
Semuto Health Center 4. Clerk, no, please. Clerk, let the clerk. No. I get credible information from my clerk. We have officers who can verify and give me information here. And once it's not right, we hold them accountable administratively. Okay? No, but Honorable Senyon is saying, and the state in which the ambulance is, but it's not there according to Rutamaguzi. So we, you get it? Yeah. So, no, he said it was never delivered. The president's pledge was never fulfilled. So let the clerk verify for me before we end this session. We shall have verified, okay, with the Ministry of Health, but also with the Semuto Health Center 4. Then the one for drugs, Minister for Health is not here. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, we need to investigate this. So the Minister of Health is going to come here after the investigation and inform us if it is really true that the medicine has been stolen by various people whom we don't know right now. Thank you. The Minister of Health will be coming here next week because this week she is away with the President in his tour. So next week the Minister will be here.
Thank you. Honorable Azza. Where is the minister you're talking about? Show, you're saying she's around. Show me. Honorable Azza.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. And I rise on a matter of national importance. Mr. Speaker, business owners in Arua, Koboko, Yumbe, and Moyo have expressed their frustration over continuous robbery of their goods at a place called Enzeva in Arua district along Kampala-Nebi road. Usually the buses and lorries carrying people and goods along this highway route are waylaid by robbers and thugs wielding guns, arrows, pangas, and so on. And they normally take advantage of the darkness. They take advantage of the steep climb and the pothole section of the road at Enzeva. And as the vehicles slow down, as the buses slow down, they waylay these trucks and thereby robbing all the goods. Our prayers, Mr. Speaker. May I request the police to have routine security patrols. Secondly, may the police also set up a station at that black spot. Thirdly, the Minister of Works is here. May that section of the road be worked on so that the potholes are removed so that the vehicles move smoothly. Thank you very much.
Right Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm going to cause a meeting with the Minister of Internal Affairs so that they can handle the issue of routine checkups on that road. And secondly, I want to call the minister here for works to come and inform us on when they can work on that part of the road, which is also causing insecurity in that area. Honorable Minister, please come and inform the House here about that.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Since we have got the concerns through my honorable brother, I'm going to get in touch with our station engineer. Tomorrow he goes and assesses the place, then we work on it probably next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Nathan Itungo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, colleagues. I raise this concern in good faith on behalf of parents and on behalf of students. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, any time from now, UNEP will be releasing a set of exams for O-level students who sat those exams. There are two categories of exams. There are those candidates who sat exams on the old curriculum, especially those who had repeated or had failed the exams. They sat exam and they're about to release the exams. But there are also candidates who sat exams on the new curriculum, the competence-based. Now, parents and students and other stakeholders, the concern is about the A-level curriculum. Which combinations will be done at A-level because of lack of the curriculum? How ready are the teachers to handle the curriculum at A-level which is not in place? Which reading materials should candidates and the parents prepare for the HSC? So through you, Mr. Speaker, I want the Minister of Education to come clear and explain the puzzle about the A-level curriculum. And then number two, let the ministry be clear on our side and the side of parents exactly what is the problem. Is it the money? Is it what? So that puzzle is sorted. And my prayer, finally, Mr. Speaker, if the minister could make a response before they release the results. Otherwise, all stakeholders in the education sector are a bit confused because of that gap of A-level after developing the new competence-based curriculum. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Let Minister of Education come and update us on Wednesday. Okay? Wednesday next week. Honorable Mutemburi Yusuf.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm raising a matter that at first I thought was only affecting Butareja district. But upon interaction with most of my colleagues, I've established that it's national in nature. The issue of our colleagues, the councillors at the district level, majority of them since this financial year started have never been paid. For instance, in Butareja, they have written several letters to local government and finance, but nothing has been paid. Now that the Minister of Local Government and Finance, the ministers are here, can they explain to us why, since this financial year started, the councillors have not yet been paid, and when will they be paid? This is a very serious issue because these are the people who monitor PDM and other projects at the local levels. Information allowed.
Please, honorable colleagues, that's not how we do it, especially on matters of national importance. I made one exception.
Much obliged.
So usually I don't want to escalate it. Minister for Local Government.
Right, Honorable Speaker and members, it's our usual heartfelt concern that our councillors, one, are underpaid, two, the little money they get is taxed, and three, it's ever late and sometimes not available. But as the mother ministry, in our budgets, we have always reflected even the areas, and the Minister of Finance never pays us. I rest my case.
Honorable Minister for Finance.
Right Honourable Speaker, we are from the same government with my colleague from Ministry of Local Government. That appears to be friendly fire. But, Mr. Speaker, I think what I will do is to cross-check exactly what the problem is so that I get back to the House with facts.
Honourable Minister, can you get back to us tomorrow morning?
I'll endeavor to do that, Right Honourable.
Yeah, tomorrow we are starting at 10. Honourable Chair, Committee on Local Government.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. The former Deputy Chairperson of the Committee of Public Service and Local Government.
And
Right
former
Honourable
LC5 Chairperson. Kumi.
Yes, Right Honourable. Right Honourable Speaker, that issue was thoroughly discussed in our committee. We challenged the Ministry of Local Government to provide details of all the areas, which was done by the ministry. And all the summaries were provided here. This parliament even approved a certain supplementary to have those people paid. Why do we approve supplementaries where the emergencies and Ministry of Finance can't respond? Right Honourable Speaker, I want to really let Minister of Finance know that if we really imagine how the councillors are with the little pay that they are given, and we don't even give that little, what are we really doing? And Right Honourable Speaker, it is also common practice that whenever committees invite the Ministry of Finance to discuss such matters, they rarely attend. So we want to plead with them, even as we give them tomorrow, they should come up with a clear explanation and as to why we are not thinking about the local leaders. Thank you.
Now, Honourable Minister, this is very clear. The Minister has requested for tomorrow. Let him give us an explanation tomorrow, because this is a statutory obligation. And you know, you get embarrassed. Me, whenever you go up country, the question from LC1 leaders is to do with their pay, even failure to pay the little money. You know, like now this weekend I'll be up country. These are the questions I'll be answering. Honourable Minister, please save us. Let's wait for the Minister tomorrow. Honourable colleagues in the public gallery, we have a delegation of head teachers from Mayuge district. I've been given a long list. Unfortunately, no schools. They are represented in Parliament by Right Honourable Nakada Marukia Isanga, Honourable Gire Agre Henry, and Honourable Isabidye Idi, and Honourable Kweketaria James. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Honourable members, also in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of reed farmers from Bukanga North constituency in Isinjo district. They are represented by Honourable Nasan Byanyima and Honourable Mugumya Kreya. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please, once again, join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Honourable Chamonges William. Thank you. Honourable Chamonges.
Mr. Speaker, I raise on the issue of national importance about the killing of a person from my constituency who is called Mangisho Siwa Judah, just on Sunday evening. Mr. Speaker, this person was again killed along. This is because we have lost very many people. Mr. Speaker, this person was killed in Kakwata, around the National Park, just when he had gone to collect the branches of cypress, which we always get for building. He was got by our officers, removing the branches, which has been normal always. He was beaten and he died in the evening of Sunday. Mr. Speaker, this same person also lost his father through killing by still war officers about 5 years ago. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that has affected the entire Sabay region for very many years. I remember telling you here again, when in Bukwa, about 10 cows were shot along the road, dead. We brought the same matter here. Just between 2021 and today, from the time that we have been in Parliament, we have lost a total of 14 people. And these are people killed by trained officers who earn from our taxpayers' money, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today you will help me to give prayers that are more than two. Mr. Speaker, our prayers, and this is not from me only, with the entire leaders from Sabay. We want to know whether UA have got a different law that have been given to kill at will. And secondly, are they still under Ministry of Tourism or under government? Because I remember, Mr. Speaker, last year around May, they went and cut the groves of people, many and many acres. I reported it here. The Prime Minister, who is seated in front, wrote a letter instructing UA to stop cutting crops and stop breaking people's houses until a time that government would go to the ground and assess the situation or if encroachment is there. Mr. Speaker and Madam Prime Minister, your letter was not honored completely. And everybody thinks that letter was forged by me or as the members of Parliament from the region. Mr. Speaker, finally, we are completely frustrated. And probably this is our last, this is my last present this matter. I will not present it again. I am requesting, Mr. Speaker, that before we bury this person, we have not buried, and we are not going to bury, and we request before we bury, we want the Prime Minister and the Minister of Tourism, not the Speaker, and the Attorney General to visit the ground where Siwa was killed, so that we can all appreciate what is happening there. And Mr. Speaker, and this is finally, along the same area, we have an IDP camp, which is called Kakwata. We have nicknamed it Rwanda, because it is rocky. When government turned the forest into the national park, they pushed people down. Mr. Speaker, they have left people to be on the rock for the last 30 years. They have been in the IDP. Nowhere to dig a toilet, nowhere to bury themselves when they lose someone, nowhere to do everything. And that's why I'm saying, going with the Prime Minister and the people I've mentioned there would help us appreciate the entire situation of my people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable, my condolences. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, my condolences to the bereaved family for losing their dear one. Right Honorable Speaker, it is true, I wrote to UA about that area, And before the Minister of Tourism went there, the RDC intervened, and she was to give a report back. But later, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Tourism were supposed to visit that place, because they were saying that this place belongs to UA. So, Right Honorable, I want to request that maybe the people of the area, let them bury as we plan, because right now the Prime Minister who wanted to go and visit there with the Minister of Tourism, she is out of the country.
Point of order, Honorable Chairman.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The point of order that I'd like to raise pertaining the statement of the Prime Minister. You know, I listened carefully. She talked about the letter that she wrote and gave directives again behind the backs to the war officials to continue murdering our people. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, she is talking of a place in Sebei belonging to UA. I hope you understand the issues to do with migration in this country and where individuals in Uganda found themselves. If you talk of Uganda Wildlife Authority owning land in Sebei, then you are wrong. Are you in order to say that Uganda Wildlife Authority owns land in Sebei and not the Sabines themselves? Are you in order?
Now, I know how emotional such a matters can be, but the Prime Minister, Honorable colleague, I don't think the Prime Minister wrote a letter saying continue killing these people and all that. But I know emotions on such a matters, because I have been I have been in Ergon on the Bugisu side of Ergon National Park. And I was hosted by Honorable John Faith Magora on top of Mount Wanare, where those people nearly did a second imbar on me. I survived narrowly because we were in serious matters. I had Kadodi coming and what you know. so I had to plead that I had already done imbar with Chigawe. Now these guys were about to grab me. All I'm Dimi's people, they have always threatened when you visit. But anyway, on a very, very serious note, when you could see, the issue has been glaring. We have talked about this issue. I don't know why we cannot sort out the issue of boundaries for Ergon National Park. Because that's where the problem is. The moment you sort out, just wait on it. The moment you sort out that issue, you will have sorted all these problems. If you don't, the more you keep postponing it, the more it will continue reoccurring. And Right Honorable Prime Minister, you see, you go, people say, no, in campaigns, the president said we shall go with boundaries of 1992. UA is saying we must go with boundaries of 1963. Okay? So, and you don't want... Now, I face, for example, the same problem in my constituency, in my area, where I think 1950s, the Bachiga, who requested for space in Ankore, Bunyora, and Toro, were given part of Queen Elizabeth National Park. But these people didn't reflect it within the Gazette, okay? Up to now, recently they were there, NFA came and started entering people's homes, saying you're in forest land. people who were born there since 1950s. So that's when I assigned the committee, and the committee moved around. I got information from the chair committee on tourism today that their report is ready. And the report was aiming at sorting out, looking at those issues. Honorable Mshemeza, I know you're a member of the committee. Honorable Namuga. I would request that on Tuesday, we have that report here, because it's going to tackle the whole country. Okay? All areas in the country that have such issues. And the Minister for Tourism should come and specifically respond to this issue. In fact, for you, Honorable Chemonges, the body is available. In our area, we just do a funeral. Recently, I was there. I just heard so-and-so has been killed. So yes, the burial, they said, no, we do a funeral, because if you go back to the park to pick the body, you will also die. So you're left to the animals. They are eaten by animals. And I think they told me, is it this year or when? We've already lost around 14 people. Yes. And you can't go to pick the body. No, you don't. Because the moment they don't accept that they killed the person. Because now you're going to be eaten by hyenas. There is no evidence. So you can't go to the park to start looking for the body. But these people know how they communicate. They say, no, we are with so-and-so. We escaped, but he died. And we do funeral rites. And it goes like that. I think this has to stop. Even in protecting our national heritage and what, we should be humane enough. So let the minister on Tuesday. Now, when we are discussing that report, let's discuss it in detail on Tuesday, when the committee report is brought here. On the one of burial, you say I cannot tell the Prime Minister that unless you go, they won't bury. I think let's manage it as leaders. I would request Prime Minister, you meet Honorable Chemonges outside, okay? You discuss this issue, not here on camera. But if there is something you needed to clarify, right, Honorable.
Yeah, right. Speaker, I wanted just to complete my statement that I was giving. Of course, I did not write to say that let these people be killed. I was writing for the people to be protected. But this was a directive by His Excellency the President to the Prime Minister to handle. So, as you have Right Honorable suggested, let it be done, and I think by that time the Prime Minister will be here also to give us what she had done since the directive of His Excellency the President. I thank you.
Thank
For
you.
the burial, I requested my colleague that let us...
Right, Honorable, please meet outside, you talk. We can't solve this issue on a microphone here, okay? Honorable colleagues, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers from Chris from Life International Ministries, from Basiro East Constituency, Wakiso District. They are represented in Parliament by Honorable Medard Second and Honorable Esther Narima. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Now, honorable colleagues, if you check on the order paper, item 6 is to do with RAPEX, moving money for RAPEX. So when I met the chairperson for a brief today, I was told that of the votes they brought, there was no money for UNRWA and money for road fund. And yet we have emergencies in our areas. So I said, now, which RAPEX, which money are we moving when the big monies are remaining the other side? And the minister told us he's not able to move because we don't have money. So I asked the Minister for Finance, I said, I won't be able to allow this item until we receive also the money for road fund and money for union. And I'm happy to note that the minister has taken action. So allow me, I think, Minister, we do it when we are reading papers, okay? You can, I will amend the order paper to allow the minister to lay it when we are on laying of papers, so that it can be referred to the Committee on Budget, and then we can conclude RAPEX issue on Tuesday when we have these critical funds also included. No, there is no one on the floor, so yeah. Thank you, Honorable. Next item.
Item 3 on the other paper, statement by Minister on the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, Honorable Minister, as you come, colleagues, there are some of you who register matters of national importance. And I look through and I find they are not urgent matters. They are important, but not urgent. And the answers they require are very detailed. Okay? So I usually advise that such matters are taken to the Prime Minister so that the Prime Minister can get detailed answers. I don't want to have answers that are not satisfactory here on the floor. So some of you, I've jumped your matters because of that. Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, as you may be aware, the M23 armed group advanced on Goma, DRC on Sunday, 26 January 2025, after capturing significant territory earlier this month in Kivu, North Kivu province. On Monday, 27th January 2025, the M23 announced the capture of Goma. The conflict between the M23 and the armed forces of DRC has escalated in spite of determined mediation efforts and progress toward the cessation of hostilities under both Rwanda and Nairobi processes. We offer our heartfelt condolences to the innocent civilians, the MONUSCO, some Idris peacekeepers that have lost their lives in the fighting taking place in North Kivu and South Kivu provinces of DRC. We are deeply concerned about the escalation of tensions in eastern DRC that have led to massive displacement of people, with likely consequential pressure on the Republic of Uganda, which already hosts more than 560,000 refugees from DRC alone. Colleagues, yesterday, our embassy in DRC, Kinshasa, was attacked by rioters triggered by developments in Goma, where looting and burning of the embassy property took place. The incident is a violation of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961, and we condemn this in the strongest terms. Fortunately, no embassy staff was harmed, and it has been determined that they are safe and the embassy premises are now secured. Last evening, we received assurances from government of DRC that appropriate security measures had been taken and the situation in Kinshasa is under control. The decision to suspend Uganda Airlines flights to Kinshasa announced yesterday is prudent under the circumstances as we continue to monitor the situation, which is fast changing. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is assessing practical means to provide consular or emergency services to Ugandan nationals resident in DRC, and as need arises, will inform the public in due course of the measures. Honorable members, this is a protracted conflict with a long history of misjudgment and external interference. A multiplicity of factors including ethnicity, citizenship, mineral and economic exploitation, and youth unemployment continue to fuel the conflict. We therefore would like to take this opportunity to categorically state and clarify that the Republic of Uganda dissociates itself from the activities of armed belligerent groups in the DRC. It's important to restate the context to government of Uganda participation in resolution of this conflict since 2013 in order to provide clarity. On 12th December 2013, in Nairobi, 2 declarations and 1 communique were signed, including the Kampala dialogue between the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo and the M23. The documents detailed each side's commitment, including the mobilization and reintegration of former rebels, and the DRC commitment to facilitate the return of refugees. Following the defeat of the M23 armed group in November 2013, the former fighters were received in Kisoro, Uganda, disarmed by Uganda security, and their arms inspected and handed over statues accredited to Uganda and international journalists for monitoring and documentation exercises. It should be noted that the ex-combatants were not prisoners but refugees. Uganda government has, in good faith, regularly shared information with the DRC government on matters relating to activities of the M23 ex-combatants. By 2015, all disarmed ex-combatants that had taken refuge in Uganda, save for non-citizens of DRC, had been handed over to government of DRC. Colleagues, we commend the Rwanda process under the stewardship of His Excellency Joao Lorenzo, the President of the Republic of Angola. We recognize the Nairobi process under the guidance of former President Uhuru Kenyatta. We recall DRC government's approval of EAC regional force deployment in Eastern DRC in November 2022, resulting in success in ensuring a reduction in M23's movement territory by 80%. However, due to disagreement around the force's mandate, the mission was not extended, and the aircraft completed its withdrawal on 21st December 2023, after its mandate expired on 8th December 2023. The 24th Ordinary Summit of the EAC Heads of State held on 30th November 2024 in Arusha called for a coordinated approach and the consolidation of various mediation initiatives, specifically Rwanda process and the EAC-led Nairobi process, to be merged into one and managed jointly. We are hopeful that this initiative will be implemented to ensure a more effective mediation process toward the cessation of hostilities and a lasting peace. Right Honorable Speaker, as we have said before, the problems of Great Lakes region cannot be resolved by military means. This approach has been tried before and unfortunately has its limits and unnecessarily prolongs the resolution of problems. His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni and the government of Uganda remain available to participate in regional peace initiatives to ensure a cessation of hostilities as soon as possible. The government of Uganda continues to monitor the security situation in the Great Lakes region while taking into account the importance of the ongoing bilateral agreements with the DRC. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. I wish you the best in your attempts to resolve all this. Next item. No, Honourable colleagues, the Minister had requested me for space. These are very sensitive matters. A voice, no, please, I request a voice going on, okay? These are sensitive matters. No. Honourable colleagues, Rule 52.2 says such a statements may be debated. Okay? In my own judgment, these are statements, especially I know with the statements that have come from different corners and what they are reading to. I wouldn't want us to again go through many issues. Honourable Minister, you will be updating us. Next item, I request.
Item 4.
You know I'm the most lenient person on these matters. I request.
Item 4 on the other paper, laying papers 1, report of the Uganda delegation to the 53rd CP Africa Regional Conference held in Arusha, Tanzania from 29th September to 7th October 2024.
Thank you. Before Honorable Enos comes, Rob has reminded me, for him, he raised a specific matter which had not been covered under your statement, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, there is a matter Rob raised which has not been covered under your statement, and even in the request for statement, you never alluded to that. So, can just tell him to remind you, allow him to remind you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And thank you for allowing my insistence, because this is a critical issue and there should be nothing to hide. I raised this matter leading to the statement by the Minister, and unfortunately there are elements that have not been covered. One of which is very critical, that Uganda's ambassador to DRC for over 4 years has not been accredited. It's important for us to know what's the ministry doing about this, because the link we have with DRC is an ambassador. Not even you, the minister. You might supervise these ambassadors, but they are our links. We do not have a link. Our embassy got banned. I don't know who you're in touch with, who is heading that mission, because our ambassador has not been accredited to date. Why? Did DRC not find this person competent enough? Did we just abandon the issue? Because it's important, even formally, for us to know what's happening in DRC, what's happening to our Ugandan citizens whose link should be this ambassador. And this is an aspect that you have not talked about in your statement. So I thought I should insist that he responds to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. It's true indeed I didn't mention this, because I have mentioned this severally on this floor. Mr. Speaker, under Chapter 7 of the Constitution, and precisely Article 1221 states that the President, with approval of Parliament, may appoint heads of missions and ambassadors. Mr. Speaker, that rests the case of a blame to the ministers. The ministers are aware and they have transmitted to the appropriate authority, who under Article 122(1) has that responsibility. We've done our part. Mr. Speaker, that delineates from Article 123, talking about treaties. Article 123(1) talks about the President may, the President or any person authorized by the President may enter into treaties. Now, that puts a clear dichotomy and only gives assignment to what we can do and what we cannot do. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it's not true to allege that we have no representation in the DRC. We have staff in our mission in the DRC. We may not have head of mission accredited, but we have the deputy head of mission, who is chargé d'affaires. In absence of head of mission, you have a chargé d'affaires. The mission is running. Maybe just for your information, is that the DRC does not have a head of mission equally here. I thank you.
Thank you. Next item, Honorable Enos. I think the item had already been called.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm here to lay a report with the Ugandan delegation to the 53rd CP African Regional Conference, which was held in Arusha, Tanzania, on the 29th of September to 7th October. In the interest of time, Right Honorable Speaker, I'll just go through the resolutions of the conference for the benefit of the members. Right Honorable Speaker, the 53rd CP Africa Regional Annual Conference was held in Arusha under the theme African Parliaments at the forefront of addressing global challenges, including food insecurity, climate change, and youth empowerment. So we had so many workshops, and the official opening was presided over by the Vice President of the Republic of Tanzania. He made a very good speech relating to the theme of the conference, and we have attached the speech of the Vice President to the report. Right Honorable Speaker, the conference made resolutions. One of them, I just want to read them, just for committee chairpersons to see what they can pick for their various sectors. On the assessment of preparedness to cope with effects of climate change among African countries, the conference urged African governments to undertake policy reforms that will integrate climate change policies into all levels of government, planning and decision-making policies. They also advised the African governments to consider community involvement of conducting public awareness campaigns to educate communities about risks associated with climate change and actions that they would take. They also encouraged African parliaments to engage fully by influencing legislations, fund allocations to alleviate poverty as a way to mitigate the effects of climate change and all other mitigating measures. Because they believe that, the conference believed that the discussions that we had, we believe that poverty is part of the problem of climate change. So as parliaments, we need to engage fully in influencing legislation that help to alleviate poverty. On the second topic of discussion, harnessing abundant renewable energy resources in Africa to speed up industrialization and opportunities and challenges, the African governments were advised to establish financial mechanisms that can involve private sector and international organizations specifically to aimed at supporting renewable energy projects for developing renewable energy infrastructure in Africa. African governments were also advised to launch public awareness campaigns to educate citizens about the benefits of renewable energy and encourage community participation in local projects. Right Honorable Speaker, again on the third topic of reforming electoral systems in Africa to address mounting crisis of mistrust in political institutions, the conference advised African governments to establish or strengthen independent electoral commissions that are free from political influence and capable of conducting transparent, fair, and credible elections. We also advised, or the conference advised governments to review and update their legal frameworks governing elections to align with international standards and best practices, aiming at ensuring inclusive participation in elections of marginalized groups, including women, youth, persons with disabilities, and ethnic minorities. Also, African governments were encouraged to establish mechanisms for timely resolution of electoral disputes through independent judicial bodies. Furthermore, a formation of inter-party dialogue councils and dialogue between the Electoral Commission and political parties to build trust and consensus on key aspects of the electoral process. Those were the resolutions on this particular topic. On topic number 4, on beyond numbers, re-examining the contribution of women in parliaments. African parliaments.
Honorable Enos, you're going beyond. Please.
Yes, this is the last. Right, Honorable. This is the last topic. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Procedure.
Okay, I can.
Procedure.
Mr. Speaker, the member said he was
I'm
laying
going to
the
lay.
paper.
Honorable, can you?
And under our
can
rules,
you
you're
take
only
your
limited
seat?
to laying and you sit.
No.
The title and you learn the.
Honorable colleagues, this falls under Rule 33, which requires that on top of laying, the member gives a summary, especially of the resolutions and all that. But now he's also going into observation. So that's why I wanted him to conclude with the summary.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On the last topic, it was about reforming the education system in Africa to address youth unemployment on the continent. The conference had urged African governments to review and reform their national education policies to better align with labor market needs, focusing on not just academic excellency, but also practical and digital skills acquisition. They also encouraged African governments to invest in digital infrastructure to ensure all students have access to modern learning tools and resources. They also advised the African governments to increase funding for educational programs that can focus on entrepreneurship and innovation as pathways to self-employment and avail the youth with necessary capital to run businesses. Lastly, they also advised the African governments to collaborate with international organizations, including UNESCO, UNICEF, the World Bank, to provide technical assistance and funding support for educational reforms, targeting youth unemployment reduction. These resolutions were adopted, of course, on the 5th of October 2024 in Arusha. Right Honorable Speaker, at this conference, we also had the election of office bearers, and on behalf of the Ugandan Parliament, I was elected as the Treasurer of African Region for 3 years, starting this year until 2028. Yes, the term. Okay, listen, members.
No, Honorable, please
the
remain
term runs
focused.
3 years.
Remain focused.
The term runs for 3 years, but it implies that any member from the branch, if I do not return to Parliament, whoever will be on the committee will take on the position until 2028.
Luckily,
So
you're returning.
the position is not entirely for me, but it's for the branch of Uganda. Okay, members, thank you so much. I will return. The people of the Antony will return. NOC. So members, Right Honourable Speaker, we want also to take this opportunity to thank you and the Office of the Speaker for having facilitated us for this conference. Thank you so much. I now beg to lay the report.
Thank you, Honorable Enos. Rule 33, I'm supposed to appoint time for debate. So, Honorable colleagues, read through the report, comprehend it, and then after, I'll be announcing the time we shall have debate. The same report. Thank you. Next.
Item 4.2, report of the delegation to the 67th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference, 3rd to 8th November 2024, Sydney, New South Wales, Australia.
Honorable Enos.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Again, I'm here to lay a report of the delegation of the 67th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference that was held from the 3rd to the 8th of November 2024 in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Right Honourable Speaker, of course, on a delegated responsibility, I went with a delegation of 8 members on behalf of the Speaker, and the conference, the 67th conference, had a range of workshops that took place under the main conference theme of Engage, Empower, Sustain, Charting the Course for Resilient Democracy. The CPC workshops were an opportunity for parliamentarians and global experts to discuss major parliamentary issues. The following learning and development workshops were held during the main conference: building bridges, parliamentary frameworks for meaningful engagement with indigenous people, but that one is so relevant to the Australian continent. The use of artificial intelligence in parliamentary processes and practices, opportunities and challenges, which is very relevant to us. How can legislatures best support and promote LGBT plus participants? But that one, yes, listen, that one was well sorted by our legislature, so there's nothing much to discuss here. We also had a topic on promoting the political participation of young women and girls. We also had a workshop on gender and national climate planning, moving from commitment to scalable action. Lastly, we also had a conference on future-proofing democracy, innovations in security, and support for women parliamentarians, which is also very relevant to us. We also had a very relevant topic on votes versus likes, the role of Parliament in strengthening democratic resilience in an age of fake news and synthetic media. There were so many discussions to this. I will only go straight to the resolutions of the conference. But my resolutions I will only read or take you through the topics that are relevant to this legislature. Building bridges, parliamentary framework for meaningful engagement with indigenous people. This is more of the Australian continent. The use of artificial intelligence in parliamentary processes, practices, and opportunities and challenges. I encourage members to look for a report, read through this because it's very relevant. because this workshop focused so much on legislatures having an integrated artificial intelligence, or integrating artificial intelligence into their processes, practices, and opportunities, and challenges that might be presented with that. We also looked at, Uganda made a case on the topic of how can legislators best support and promote LGBT participation. We made our comments first that we are against, and we passed a law, but specifically we try to explain the law that we passed that does not stop. It's not necessarily against homosexuals. You can be a homosexual, but as long as you do not promote. We try to explain that to the international. Yes, I'm going to explain that. Now listen to me.
Point of order.
Listen to me. Because you have a time to come and discuss
Point
this.
of order. Please, I want to stop giving orders on the floor. Okay?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Member, while presenting the previous report, you actually told him to lay. And you were patient enough to allow him conclude. Now, in coming up to lay the second report, he's now taking us through the same detail and even touching on controversial areas that we don't want to hear about. So, Right Honourable Speaker, is the Honourable Member in order to continue reading details of the report rather than laying? Is he in order, Right Honourable Speaker? And trying even to persuade us to define who a homosexual is, or what law we passed. We know the law that we passed. You don't have to take us through. Is he in order, Right Honourable Speaker?
Thank you.
And considering Trump's stand now on those groups. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. See, sometimes we bring controversies to ourselves. I don't know what you're doing with those issues. Okay? Just read the resolutions, and that's it.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. You see, when you go to the resolutions, look at resolution number 3.
Honourable, can you lay? And,
okay, thank you so much.
Just lay on table, the rest we shall handle.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. First and foremost, thank you so much for having facilitated us for this conference. And we pray that you continue facilitating the committee to attend to these conferences. I now beg to lay that the report of the delegation to the 67th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference that was held on the 3rd to the 8th of November 2024 in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable. The same like the other report. Honourable colleagues, I encourage you to read it. I'll be appointing time for discussion, for debate.
Item 4.3, request for reallocation of budget estimates for the financial year 2024-25 and revision of work plans for the second batch of institutions affected under the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure reform.
Honourable Minister for Finance.
Right Honourable Speaker, moving in accordance with Section 19 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171 and Rule 56 of our Rules of Procedure of Parliament, to lay on table a motion for the House to consider reallocation in the budget estimates for financial year 2024-25 and the revised work plans for the second batch of the institutions affected by the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure reform. Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay.
Thank you. Refer to committee on budget. They informed me their report had been ready, but I told them to wait before signing so that they can include these very, very critical items. So let the committee process, and on Tuesday they bring a comprehensive report, and we have this matter sorted. I hope we won't be late, Minister, if we do by Tuesday. Okay. So, honorable colleagues, like I told you yesterday evening, the Committee on Budget requested that we do the budget framework paper tomorrow. We just finished the report. So we shall do the budget framework tomorrow, and we shall start at 10 a.m. So that the whole day we shall have just that item, so that we can have a comprehensive debate around it. Crack ensure it is uploaded today, so that MPs, colleagues are able to read through and make informed submissions on the floor tomorrow. RAPEX, I've also guided that we shall handle it on Tuesday. So let's handle one more item, and we call it a day. Item number 7.
Item 7 on the other paper, motion for adoption of the report of the Government Assurances and Implementation Committee on the status of the assurances to compensate victims of war and insurgencies in West Nile, Acholi, Lango, Teso, Karamoja, and Sebei sub-regions.
Thank you, Honorable colleagues. As you remember, when the committee presented the report, the Attorney General requested that we give him time to prepare a response. He told me his response is ready. Let's give him time to present it, and then we open debate and have this matter concluded. Attorney General.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I'm pleased to inform this House that it is the government's policy to pay all war debt claimants and beneficiaries, irrespective of whether they went to court or not. I want to believe that you still remember the contents of the report, which was presented while we were in Gulu, so I'm beginning from there. Our mandate in as far as compensation of war debt claimants is concerned is limited to Acholi, Lango, and Teso sub-regions. The Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs awaits a cabinet guidance on whether other regions that were affected by insurgencies can be brought on board. Colleagues, Parliament made a total budgetary allocation of 200 billion shillings over the past 4 financial years, namely 50 billion shillings in the financial year 2021-22, 30 billion shillings in 2022-2023, 80 billion shillings in 2023-2024, and 40 billion shillings in 2024-2025. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development in the financial year 2021-2022 released 50 billion shillings, and in financial year 2022-2023 there was no release at all, while in financial year 2023-2024 the Ministry of Finance released 71.28 billion, and in financial year 2024-2025 it has so far released 18.2 billion, making a total so far released to 139.49 billion, out of which the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has so far paid out 136 billion shillings as follows: 49.323 billion has been paid out to 17,934 people in financial year 23-24. 16.14 billion has been paid out to 11,250 people. In financial year 2024-25, in the 3 sub-regions of Acholi, Lango, and Teso, a total of 1.19 billion in financial year 2021-22, 2023 and 24 bounced back to the ministry accounts due to various reasons, such as closed accounts, dormant accounts, inaccurate names or inaccurate account numbers, and others. Whereas on the 5th day of August 2024, we reported to the Committee of Government Assurances that 119.24 billion was paid out. The figure has since increased to 136 Nobuguam due to let me repeat that, Right Honourable Speaker. I wanted the attention of Namuga. She was not following. Right Honourable Speaker, whereas on the 5th day of August 2024, we reported to the Committee of Government Assurances that 119.2 billion was paid out. The figure has since increased to 136 billion due to the release of more funds for compensation in financial year 2024-2025. Honourable colleagues, the information relating to payment of all claimants stroke beneficiaries is readily available on the ministry's website, that is justice.go.ug/livestock-compensation. Please note, this was last updated in September 2024. I'm talking about the website because the information you find there should tally with what I'm saying. It was last updated in September 2024. Quarter 2, financial year 2024-2025 is still pending upload owing to reconciliation of the figures being undertaken by the Ministry of Finance. Now, while in Guru, the report presented by the Committee of Government Assurances raised a number of issues. My intention here is to respond to those specific issues. Issue number 1, the committee in clause 3.22 on page 11 of its report recommended that livestock compensation rates should relate to established rates of 1,050,000. Colleagues and honorable members, when His Excellency the President launched payments of warded claimants and beneficiaries in financial year 2021-2022, the ministry was allocated 50 billion shillings, which was prorated to 27 districts and 2 cities in the 3 sub-regions of Acholi, Lango, and Teso, with each district receiving an allocation of 1.72 billion. At the beginning of the payment process, the amounts payable were computed on a pro rata basis. This resulted into some payments made falling below the 1,050,000 shillings, which is the value of a cow. This was later reviewed to ensure that the minimum payment amount should at least be a cow. A top-up of 1 million, I beg your pardon, allow me. A top-up of Uganda shillings 1,050,000, which is a unit cost per cow, was made for all claimants and beneficiaries who had received less than the unit cost. In financial year 2023-2024, the above claimants and beneficiaries in the affected districts of Agago, Palisa, Kitugum, Serere, and Kaberamaido were given a top-up amount of 307 million on top of the district's allocated amount of 1.7 billion. 2. The committee in clause 3.4 on page 14 of its report observed that according to Attorney General, the outstanding liability for compensation claims as at 30th June 2024 was at 472 billion. However, upon their analysis of the same, they arrived at an outstanding liability of 208 billion, leaving a variance of 264 billion from the original liability as was reported by the Attorney General to the committee. Further, it is reported that the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has so far paid out 119.2 billion shillings, while the committee discovered that the Ministry of Justice had actually paid out 114.7 billion shillings, leaving an unexplained variance of 4.4 billion. Here below is an extract of the table 3 from page 14 and 15 of the committee report. In response to that, we have observed that the committee in its report considered financial year 2023-2024 partially and only extracted payments and outstanding liability assessed at 50 cows, owing to the threshold set by the ministry of paying at least a minimum of 1 cow and not more than 50 cows for the first phase, leaving out a total claim in excess of amounts payable or assessed at 50 cows and the information relating to the claimant's stroke beneficiaries' entire claim. Honorable members and colleagues, had the committee extracted the entire information presented to it by the Attorney General's chambers, they would have arrived at the outstanding liability of 472.72 billion as shown in the sample table below. There is the sample table.
Procedure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious statement that the Minister is presenting. And I have tried to look for the report on my iPad. I cannot actually see the report. And he's referring us and telling us the table is there. Now, I cannot access the report on my iPad, and therefore I cannot see the statement or the table that he's talking about. So would it not be procedure right?
Of the committee or his
no,
statement?
his statement.
The clerk?
Yes, so would it not be right for this statement by the minister to be uploaded?
Clerk, isn't it uploaded?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I supplied it to the clerk's office last week.
This is our problem. I'm sorry, Honorable colleagues, because the Attorney General gave us this statement. I don't know my IT people, you know. So let them upload quickly. By the time we go into a deeper debate, Honorable colleagues, it will be uploaded. Let's save time by the means of continuing. In a few minutes, it will be uploaded.
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. My sisters are not very easy on me. I hope I will survive. Namuga. The amount paid of Uganda shillings 114 billion, as quoted in Table 3 on page 17 of the committee report, relates to financial year 2023-2024 figures. This left out payments made to claimants and beneficiaries of financial year 2021-2022 amounting to 4.49 billion, especially those that were fully paid. Number 3, the committee in clause 3.31 on page 15 of its report reported that out of the 1,900 claimants stroke beneficiaries in Pader district, only 800 claimants stroke beneficiaries have so far been paid. We would like to report that the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has so far cumulatively paid 1,118 claimants. More information relating to the above can be obtained from the website already mentioned. Furthermore, in clause 3.32 on page 15 of its report, the committee in Nwoya district observed that out of the lost 8,620 livestock, shillings, equivalent to 169 heads of cattle. This is far from the truth. Our information, which is readily available on the website, shows and confirms that the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs at the time had paid out 2,970 million to Nwoya district, which is equivalent to 2,289 livestock. Additionally, in clause 3.43 on page 15 of its report, the committee in Kitgum district observed that of the 1,336 claimants stroke beneficiaries submitted for payment, only 11 were fully paid. Honorable colleagues, our information reveals that a total of 27 claimants and beneficiaries had been fully paid, 420 claimants stroke beneficiaries partially paid, and 376 claimants stroke beneficiaries not paid at all, but will be paid once the resources are available. The committee in clause 3.44 on page 16 of its report observed that in Oyam district, a total of 14,471 claimants stroke beneficiaries were registered, and that the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs issued only 6,000 data cards. Colleagues, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in 2016 verified 6,618 claimants stroke beneficiaries in Oyam district, and equally in 2021 issued to Oyam district a corresponding number of 6,618 data cards. The discrepancy highlighted by the committee has arisen as a result of the Attorney General's instructions to the districts to also verify claimants stroke beneficiaries who took government to court in cases such as Ongia Francis, formerly Okello Betty, and Dilion Johnson, which has led to Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs procuring additional data cards to cover the additional numbers. We have observed that whereas we furnished the Committee of Government Assurances with information relating to financial years 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, it appears that the committee did not consider both financial years presented, and that's why they have discrepancies in their report. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable colleague. Thank you. Debate ensues now. Honorable Timugi Isaac, Honorable Paparu, Honorable Amos Okot, Honorable Fox Odoy, Honorable Amede, Haji, then I'll pick more. Colleagues, we have time. Don't mind, we have time. I'm going to pick. Yeah, I'm going to pick you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I thank the Attorney General for the report laid. Right Honorable Speaker, during the sitting in Gulu, it was also pointed out clearly during the report as to why West Nile sub-region was not considered during the compensation of the war claimants. People who lived during those days remember vividly on how all our media, even the television, used to be awash with the wreckage of the buses that were burnt during the Konyi times along Karuma-Pakwach Road. It came to the surprise of so many in West Nile sub-region when the sub-regions of Teso, Lango, Acholi were the only ones considered, and West Nile were actually left out. We expected a very good explanation to that, but nothing has been given in the statement as to why West Nile sub-region was not considered. Right Honorable Speaker, there are cases which arose from West Nile which also went to court. A case, in example, which the Attorney General is well aware of, because I visited his office a couple of times on this matter, is the case of Onger, Samuel, and 39 others who lost a lot of their properties during the Konyi War. The case started since 2016. It went through the Commission of Equal Opportunities as well. And to the surprise, on a newspaper dated 14th August 2023, a list was published by the Office of the Attorney General listing people who were going to be awarded compensation. Now, these same people, Onger, Samuel, and 39 others, were also included on that list of the new vision. And they were given 14 days to actually submit their account details. They gathered themselves, at least those who were still alive, and I also accompanied them to the Office of the Attorney General. Only to arrive there, and the response given by the Attorney General's office was that, sorry, it was a mistake, that they were not supposed to be on the list. And to date, those people are frustrated. After waiting for over 10 years, no justice has been done. So, Right Honorable Speaker, my urge is that West Nile sub-region, we urge the Attorney General, we put up our prayers also to the government, to the President, that West Nile sub-region suffered a lot during the War of Konyi. Everybody knows it. And we pray that whatever little money that government, this parliament actually appropriates, let it be shared across those regions, including West Nile sub-region. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Paparu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in the opening remarks of the Attorney General, he said they are only mandated to pay 3 sub-regions. That is Acholi, Lango, and Teso. That we agree. But in the Gulu sitting, Right Honorable Speaker, we are given a feedback that the payments or the compensation for the people of West Nile was already brought in Parliament and was supposed to have gotten updates with this feedback that is being given here. So we are disappointed because he said their mandate is only for the 3 sub-regions. That means we don't have any feedback. Right Honorable Speaker, the NDP4, we don't also see the compensation in that. In the budget framework papers, we're not seeing in that. I know, I don't want to debate in anticipation. So I wanted to seek clarity from Attorney General's office whether the people of West Nile are going to be compensated. Because when they said that they are coming in the second phase, and he's here confirming that they only have mandate for the 3, as if there's going to be nothing done to the rest, it's a bit disappointing. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Amos Okot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, honorable members. Mr. Speaker, this report and all other reports regarding compensation, I think many people are not appreciating it. When you hear the reports that has been given with a lot of billions that is being read, on the ground, you nearly don't see anything. And I pity even those people who are saying West Nile also need, other people also need. Sincerely speaking, they will say you're going to be included. But all is just giving money to those one who will give you reports, and yet when you go deep, you'll find a lot of cheating, corruptions, unclear procedures, leaving the claimants without any proper answers. To be honest, very many people are not satisfied with all these processes. You go to anybody, go to Agago, now he's talking that there are some top-up that have been given. People calls you, they don't know where to go, either to go to the CAO's office, to go to who, they resort to member of parliament. And when times of election comes like this, they focus, especially to we who are in the ruling party. They will tell you when time for campaigns, you talk about compensation. When campaign is over, nobody talk about compensation. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to do something more deeper than this. It is true, we know it's the government policy to compensate people during wars. And it is we, the government, to do it. But let it be something real. As I talk now, Mr. Speaker, we know how the animal got lost. We know how we lose all those properties. It went to the rebels. Others were destroyed by the government soldiers. Others went to the Karamojongs, the warriors. Even now, as I talk, the Karamojongs, they are still even stealing and killing. If I'm to tell you, this month alone of January, I have lost 5 people. Even yesterday, they shot somebody. So you see, the circumstance is just rounding like this, Until when shall we come to an end with this? We are crying and we want the peace. We want compensation to be real. Just not a paper accountability, but when you go down, the thing is not as it's supposed. If I'm to quote the Minister for Justice, Honorable Norbert Mao, as we were burying the husband of our dear one, Honorable Balmoy, he was there. And he gave a very strong, if I'm to quote in our language, I say in the language, I will translate after saying. He said, Pe ogo tibo tuol. I'm going to translate to you. Saying, do not beat the shadow of the snake. Because everybody was saying, now that Honorable Mao is the Minister for Justice, our animals will now be compensated. And then Mao just came and said, you people, do not focus on the shadow of the snake. Look for the snake and beat the snake. And now we don't know which one is a snake. Mr. Speaker, we may laugh on this matter, but honestly speaking, let us do something real. We are losing very many of the claimants. And the worst of it, if you come and they look at your age, they'll start doubting you. Say, go and get some letter here, there, and they keep touching you. Even the banks themselves. Even the...
Thank you, Honorable Fadil. Then Honorable Fox.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the government for coming out with this program of compensation. However, I have seen them that have compensated the people of Teso, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, partly. Right Honorable Speaker, we have Sabines who live in Teso. And when they were selecting this compensation plan, they didn't include them, and yet there are people who lived in Ngora, in Bukedea, etc. Were they basing on tribe, or how were they selecting? Because these are people who are even, some of them are even still living there up to now. And Right Honorable Speaker, the entire Sebei sub-region, we have suffered with all the civil wars in this country. And they have never included them anywhere. When they talk of compensation, they just keep on telling us they are going to be in the other plan, and yet we suffered a lot, and up to now, Right Honorable Speaker, we are still suffering. So we want to know from government whether are we part of Uganda also, or why do you do this to the people of Sebei? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Fox Odoi.
I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, there are structural problems. There are policy problems we are debating this afternoon. Uganda as a country does not have any policy on compensation. So what we are dealing with this afternoon is ad hoc administrative fiat. Is ex gratia payment. Ex gratia payment is a favor from the person donating. So as a parliament, we shall be helping this country if we go back to the basics. If we demand that the government of the Republic of Uganda comes up with a policy on compensation, that movement, I will grant you, movement of a one lady called Alice Lakwena, destabilized the people of